want to talk about listening today, and that's from two sides. First is listening to somebody else, and the other is listening to ourselves. And I mean true, engaged listening, not superficial listening, which I think so many of us do, myself included. I know I've been horribly guilty of that in the past, where you're just going, and you've no idea what's going on, what's being said. What's it like for you when you've been deeply listened to? How has that made you feel? Because that's a key. I know for myself that when I'm being listened to, I feel acknowledged, I feel held, I feel loved, I feel validated. What other words come up for you when you think about that? What it's like to be truly listened to? And by that as well, I mean listened to with no other agenda than to listen, than being listened to. So not somebody trying to fix your problem, trying to offer solutions in any way. This is just being listened to. It's really profound, right? So what might it be like for you to offer that to somebody else? Now, you may be a parent that's got somebody that you love that's really struggling right now. What would it be like to come at a situation to listen? And the thing about eating disorders, and I certainly felt this when B was ill, was that the eating disorder spoke a lot, talked a lot, had a lot of opinions, had a lot to say. But what I was aiming to do, and what I would love you to see, is to listen to your son or daughter or whoever it is that you love, that you're caring for. Listen to them, not the eating disorder. So I've mentioned this before. It's about listening to the person behind the mask. And that might feel really hard to do because you may feel you may feel that they're lost completely. But what happens when we quieten down or we commit to listening? We begin to hear the things that aren't being said, the quiet nudges that we might be getting that's coming from them. We may pick up on a feeling. And what I'd love you to do is, when you're able to do this, is to answer to that, to reflect back to that. And not in a fixing way, but just in a kind of, like the words I've said, how I felt when I'm listened to. You could feed back from that place too, so that they can feel held and loved and acknowledged and validated. I'd love you to try that. The other thing that has come up for me today, actually, when I was on a meditation, was deep listening to myself, to what my heart longs for, to what I really need right now. And that can be really difficult for so many of us because we've got such a noise going on in our heads. In fact, I wrote on Instagram this morning, it feels a bit like being on a tennis court where you've got a tennis ball machine lobbing balls at you. In fact, probably several tennis ball machines lobbing balls at you, which are your thoughts, and you're trying to hit them back and hit them back and hit them back, and you just feel totally overwhelmed. So there could be that much noise going on for you. So to listen, again, I'm not talking about listening to that noise, but I'm talking about listening to your heart, to deep within you. And that might feel quite scary. And I know that there are, this is one of the reasons people talk a lot, or they have music playing all day long, because they are frightened of tuning into all of that noise. So if that's hard for you, then here's a suggestion. Go out into nature It might be your garden, although I'd probably go a bit further afield than that. Go into a park or into woodland or into a forest if you can, and listen to bird song. Listen to, at this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere, the crunch of leaves under your feet. Listen to a babbling brook. Listen to a beautiful waterfall. Listen to the wild animals that are in out in the park. It could be squirrels, it could be mice. Who knows? But if we're listening to that, that's a natural sound, and that enables us to quieten down a bit. And in that quieter space, you'll hear what your heart longs for. Without a doubt, you'll hear what your heart longs for. You will find wisdom comes to you. You'll have insights. And all of that you can then take back into the rest of your day, into the rest of the engagements that you have with family, with work, from a completely different mind space, head space. So I've covered quite a bit there, but I'd love your comments. I'd love to know what you see in that, how you can look at listening from a completely different perspective. We look forward to your comments, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.